The year is 2067, and the world has reached a point where survival itself has become a luxury. Earth is no longer the green planet humanity once knew. Decades of uncontrolled climate change have pushed nature past the point of recovery. Every forest is gone. Every plant is extinct. And without plant life, oxygen has slowly vanished from the atmosphere. Breathing is no longer natural. Oxygen has become a product. Across the planet, cities have collapsed, governments have fallen, and nearly all of humanity has suffocated to death. 99% of the world has gone dark, leaving behind empty buildings, abandoned streets, and mass graves of people who simply ran out of air. Only one city remains alive. Deep underground in Australia, a single metropolis continues to function, protected from the poisoned atmosphere above. Its survival depends entirely on one corporation, Chronocorp. This powerful company manufactures synthetic oxygen and distributes it through an enormous underground network of tunnels and machines. But even this artificial oxygen comes at a cost. Over time, breathing it causes a deadly illness known only as the sickness. The disease slowly destroys the lungs from the inside, leaving victims weak, coughing, and gasping until their bodies finally give up. Doctors can slow it down, but there is no cure. Humanity doesn't have generations left. It barely has years. Ethan White is one of the millions trapped inside this dying system. He works as a mechanic for Chronocorp, spending his days repairing oxygen tunnels and machines that keep the city alive. The work is exhausting, dangerous, and relentless, but Ethan never complains. Because he isn't working for himself. He's working for his wife. Xanth is already suffering from the sickness. Every breath she takes depends on the quality of oxygen Ethan can afford. The better the oxygen, the slower the disease spreads. So Ethan works longer hours, takes extra shifts, and risks his life underground, all to buy her a little more time. His only real comfort is Jude. Jude is more than a co-worker. He's Ethan's closest friend, his protector, and the man who raised him after tragedy destroyed his childhood. Jude is older, stronger, and more experienced, and Ethan trusts him more than anyone else in the world. One day, while Ethan and Jude are working deep inside the oxygen tunnels, they receive an unexpected summons. They are ordered to report directly to Chronocorp headquarters. Neither of them understands why. Mechanics are never called upstairs. When they arrive, they are escorted into a private office where a woman is waiting for them. Her name is Regina Jackson. She is Chronocorp's chief technology officer, one of the most powerful people left on the planet. Her expression is calm, but her words are anything but reassuring. She tells them the truth without hesitation. Humanity is dying. The sickness cannot be stopped with synthetic oxygen alone, and the planet is too far gone to recover naturally. If nothing changes, the last humans will be dead within a few years. Then Regina says something that leaves Ethan speechless. She tells him that he is the only person who can save humanity. Ethan immediately dismisses it as nonsense. He's just a mechanic. He has no special training, no scientific background, and no interest in corporate lies. But Regina insists and takes him somewhere even more shocking. Deep beneath Chronocorp headquarters lies a massive laboratory filled with enormous machinery. At its center stands a towering structure made of metal, glass, and glowing energy fields. A scientist named Dr. Billy Mitchell greets Ethan and examines the device on his wrist, a device Ethan has worn since childhood but never understood. Then Billy explains the impossible. The machine in front of them is a time machine. It's called the Chronicle. The project began 20 years earlier under the leadership of Dr. Richard White, Ethan's father. According to Ethan, Richard abandoned his family when Ethan was still a child and never returned. His disappearance left Ethan's mother alone, struggling to survive in a collapsing world. Ethan has hated his father ever since. Billy explains that the Chronicle was originally designed to send data into the future, not people. Scientists wanted to see whether Earth would ever recover on its own. During early experiments, they sent radio waves forward through time. What they received back changed everything. In the year 2474, more than 4 centuries in the future, Earth is once again filled with vegetation. Trees, plants, and natural oxygen have returned. The atmosphere is stable enough to support human life. That discovery alone suggests something incredible. If the planet recovered, then humanity must have survived long enough to fix everything. But the most disturbing discovery came next. A message arrived from the future. 3 simple words. Send Ethan White. No one knows who sent it or why. But Regina believes it means Ethan must travel to the future, discover how humanity survived, and bring that knowledge back to save the present. Ethan refuses. He doesn't trust Chronocorp. He doesn't believe in miracles. And he refuses to abandon his sick wife for a mission with no plan, no guarantees, and no return date. He also refuses to become like his father, choosing a project over his family. Later that night, Ethan and Jude sit together, breathing crisp oxygen in a small diner. Jude tries to convince Ethan that this mission might be the only way to save Xanth. Ethan laughs bitterly, saying he doesn't want to disappear like his father did. That night, memories return. Ethan remembers his 8th birthday. His father gave him a strange box as a gift. When Ethan placed his hand inside, a sharp device latched onto his wrist, drawing blood and bonding itself to him permanently. Richard told him it was important, but never explained why. Ethan has lived with that mystery ever since. When Ethan tells Xanth about the time machine, she surprises him. Instead of begging him to stay, she tells him to go. She knows he may never return, but she also knows this is humanity's last chance. The next morning, Ethan writes a message on a metal flower and leaves it beside her bed. I will find my way back to you. He returns to Chronocorp and agrees to the mission, demanding only one condition, that if a cure exists, Xanth must receive it first. Regina agrees without hesitation. Ethan is placed inside a protective suit and given an AI companion named Archie. Archie will monitor his vitals and guide him through the future. No one truly knows what Ethan will find on the other side. Then the machine activates. Ethan is ripped through time at unimaginable speed. His body shakes violently as reality blurs around him. Suddenly, he is falling. He crashes into a jungle. The friction ignites his suit, forcing him to tear it off to survive. When he finally stands and looks around, Ethan is overwhelmed. Trees stretch endlessly in every direction. The air is rich and full. Oxygen flows naturally into his lungs. Earth is alive again. Archie guides him forward through the wilderness until Ethan notices something horrifying near a bunker entrance. A human skeleton lies on the ground. When he examines it, his blood runs cold. The skeleton is his. The name tag confirms it. Worse still, the skeleton's Archie device plays its final recording. A man says, "This is the only way," followed by a gunshot. Ethan is standing at the site of his own death. Ethan stands frozen in place, staring at the skeleton on the ground. Every part of him wants to believe this is some kind of mistake, a coincidence, or a cruel trick played by time itself. But the evidence is undeniable. The name tag matches his own. The wrist device attached to the skeleton is identical to the one he has worn his entire life. The only difference is the light. The device on the skeleton glows green. Ethan's has always glowed red. Before he can process what that means, Archie automatically plays the final recording stored in the dead device. A man's voice echoes through the silent forest, calm but resigned. The voice says that this is the only way, that there is no other option. Then comes the sound of a gunshot. The recording cuts off. Ethan stumbles backward, his breathing becoming erratic. He has just heard the moment of his own death. The future is no longer an abstract concept. It is standing right in front of him, waiting. Night falls, and with no shelter or supplies, Ethan does the only thing he can to survive. He lights a fire and eats wild berries nearby, trusting the planet that somehow healed itself. Within minutes, his body begins to betray him. His stomach twists violently, and he collapses, vomiting and fading in and out of consciousness as poison spreads through his system. When Ethan opens his eyes again, he sees a familiar face. Jude. For a moment, Ethan thinks he's hallucinating. But Jude is real. Chronocorp detected Ethan's vitals dropping rapidly and assumed he was dying from a toxic reaction. They made the decision to send Jude through the Chronicle with a cure, hoping to save him. Ethan survives, but the horror doesn't end there. When they return to the bunker entrance, the skeleton is still there. Nothing has changed. The future has not been altered. Ethan's death still exists, waiting for him. Determined to understand more, they follow Archie's guidance to another sealed structure nearby. A scanner activates and reads Ethan's eye, then his DNA. His wrist device responds, drawing blood and finally changing color from red to green for the first time in his life. The facility powers on. Lights flicker across the walls, revealing a familiar symbol. They are standing inside a Chronocorp laboratory, preserved for over 400 years. Even more shocking, the Chronicle itself stands before them, silent but intact. Jude believes this means they can go home. Ethan doesn't. He knows that if nothing has changed, then going back will only repeat the same nightmare. Searching the system logs, Ethan finds a holographic message left behind by his father. For the first time, Richard White speaks directly to him. Richard explains that the Chronicle was never meant to transport people. It was built to send oxygen data from the future back to the past, to prove whether Earth could ever recover. But when Richard activated the machine, he received a message from the future instructing him to send his son. He didn't want to. But he believed that message came from a future where humanity survived, and that Ethan was the key. Richard reveals that he installed DNA verification protocols so only Ethan could ever activate the system. Everything was built around him. Before Ethan can take comfort in that revelation, the system delivers devastating news. The Chronicle's power source has almost completely depleted after 4 centuries. Worse still, activating the lab has triggered a failure in its nuclear power core. In 4 hours, the entire facility will explode. If they don't repair the system and escape in time, they will die in the future along with it. Outside, Ethan and Jude explore the surrounding city. What they find is haunting. Buildings stand empty, overgrown with plants and vines. Nature has reclaimed everything. There are no signs of living humans anywhere. Only skeletons scattered across the streets. Humanity is gone. When Ethan reaches the place where his wife once lived, his hope finally shatters. Inside the ruins, he finds her remains. Xanth died long before the world healed. She never got to see the sky turn blue again or breathe real air. Ethan collapses in grief. Jude tries to convince him to return to the past anyway, arguing that there is no cure to be found in the future. Humanity didn't survive through medicine. It survived by disappearing. But something about Jude's urgency feels wrong. Later, Ethan listens again to the old Archie recording. This time, he hears it clearly. The voice that killed him in the future isn't a stranger. It's Jude. When confronted, Jude denies it at first. His hands shake as he raises a gun, insisting he would never hurt Ethan. But the truth begins to unravel. Ethan replaces his current Archie's battery with the one from the skeleton, unlocking another hidden recording. This time, the message is unmistakable. Jude admits that he is the one who kills Ethan in the future. He claims it's the only way to protect him, that the timeline cannot be changed. Ethan is devastated. Desperate for answers, he replays his father's final logs and uncovers the truth that reshapes everything he believed. Regina Jackson never wanted to save humanity. Her plan was to use the Chronicle to escape with a select group of elites, abandoning the rest of the world to suffocate. Richard White tried to stop her. To prevent Regina from using the machine, he locked it and made Ethan's DNA the only key. Enraged, Regina murdered Richard on the spot. She then ordered Jude to kill Ethan's mother and raise Ethan as a guardian, preparing him for the day he would unknowingly unlock the future. Jude obeyed. The man Ethan trusted more than anyone murdered his parents on Regina's orders. When Jude finally breaks down, he admits everything. He was supposed to make sure Ethan activated the Chronicle in the future so Regina's plan could succeed. After that, he was supposed to kill Ethan. But Jude couldn't do it. Over the years, Ethan became his family. His guilt consumed him. Unable to live with what he'd done, Jude turns the gun on himself and pulls the trigger, ending his life. Ethan is left alone. Broken, betrayed, and grieving, he nevertheless chooses to finish what his father started. He returns to the Chronicle and examines the very first message ever sent through time. He realizes the truth. The message sent Ethan White came from him. The loop was always his responsibility. Ethan sends the message again, but this time he adds more. He sends living plants back to 2067. He sends proof of Regina's crimes. And then he destroys the Chronicle, ensuring no one can ever misuse it again. Back in 2067, Regina and her chosen few wait anxiously for the machine to activate. Instead, plants burst through the portal, restoring life to the dead world. Evidence of Richard White's murder is exposed, and Regina is arrested before she can escape. Earth begins to heal. Ethan's sacrifice saves humanity, but it costs him everything. He remains alone in the future, burying Jude and finally forgiving him. As he returns to the bunker entrance, something catches his eye. The skeleton is gone. His death no longer exists. Ethan steps outside and sees a breathtaking sight. The ruined city is gone, replaced by a thriving, eco-friendly metropolis filled with life. His choice changed the future. If Ethan had chosen himself, humanity would have ended. But because he chose everyone else, the future was rewritten. Now here's the real question. If you were in his place, would you make the same choice? Let me know your answer in the comments. If you enjoyed this kind of deep, cinematic movie explanation, make sure to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications. Because we're bringing you more stories that mess with your mind and stay with you long after the video ends. Thanks for watching. And I'll see you in the next one.